To tonight's meeting of the Fort Wayne Community School Board of Trustees. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would please rise. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Good evening, Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
Raleigh Booker, 4th District. And I'm Julie Hollingsworth, elected from District 1, and also with us are Angie Filler, the Clerk of the Board. Good evening. Good evening. And our Superintendent, Dr. Mark Daniel.
Good evening.
Good evening. So we have no awards and recognition, so that brings us to our consent agenda, which includes minutes from our last meeting on October 12th, vouchers for the period ending October 26th, payroll for the period ending October 9th, and the personnel report. And members have seen all of these items in their packets. So do we have a motion and a second?
Move approval of the consent agenda, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Thanks, Maria. So all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. And Dr. Daniel, was there anything you wanted to highlight from the
There is not.
report? Okay, thanks. So, no old business, so in new business, the first thing we have are some change orders. These are from the 2020 Capital Projects Plan and the 2019 General Obligation Bond projects. There are masonry repairs and restoration. That contractor is Midwest Maintenance, and that's just a deduction of $2,182.75, which is less than, I'm sorry, that's an addition of $2,182.75, but that's a less than 1% change. Then we have 2020 PPI General Building System Projects, Schenkel Construction, and that's an addition of $1,706. That's about 0.3%. And then we have 2020 electrical PPI projects. The contractor is LA Electric, and that's a deduction of $93,062.10, which is just under a 10% deduction. So that's, the contract amounts are $1,840,005. The net is a deduction of $89,173.35. So reasonable allowances and contingencies are included in base bids for most projects, but because of conditions or fees not specifically known at the time bids are taken. The use of these allowances and contingencies are authorized by the administration only after review by the facility department's administrators and relevant architectural and engineering firms' personnel. To avoid major delays in construction projects, change order decisions are generally required and made prior to an official board meeting. In the event a major change in project scope is needed, a recommendation is made to the board for approval prior to proceeding with the projects. Questions will be addressed by Director of Facilities Darren Hess. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Maria. Questions? Okay. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And Steve, you've got the formative assessment grant.
Yes. It's recommended the board approve the application for and acceptance of the 2020-2021 formative assessment grant from the Indiana Department of Education totaling $286,538.40. Background information on this is that the formative assessment grant from the state provides funding to schools for formative assessment programs, tools, and professional development. to increase data-driven instructional practices and enrich learning for all students. The funding allocation is based on the number of students and approved assessments for both English, language arts, and math. The district will use the grant funds to purchase the Northwest Evaluation Association assessments for grades K through 10 for map growth, math, and reading, K through 2 oral reading fluency, and map growth, algebra 1, 2, and geometry, and then also professional learning supports. And Jeannie Hitchcock is here, I believe. There she is, if we have questions for her about this application. That's
Thanks,
the recommendation.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Ann. So, questions? Jeannie, does this grant cover the cost of all of the assessments mentioned in the information?
Yes, between last year's and this year's, yes.
Okay.
And has there been any improvements done to help remote learners more easily access the NWEA test?
Well, I will tell you that at MOI, I believe it's going to be a little bit better. We're going to stagger so that we don't have the internet issues. Despite the remote issues, we still managed to complete over 40,000 assessments. So,
Great, good. And have we started to analyze the data that we've received from those tests?
we've
that
just
we took?
started.
Great, good. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Jeannie. Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, so Maria, you've got another grant application.
It is recommended that the board approve the application for an acceptance of the non-English speaking program grant for the 2021 school year in the amount of $1,067,625.93 from the Office of English Learning and Migrant Programs of the Indiana Department of Education. The non-English speaking program grant is state funding allocated annually based on the number of English learner students in Fort Wayne Community Schools during the previous school year. Funds from this grant will allow for the continuation of a range of services for the district's English language learners program. The funds in this year's grant are specifically designated for personnel, professional learning, instructional materials, and translation. This non-competitive grant, written by Emily Schwartz-Kearns, ELL Manager, supports the advancement intended and outlined in District Goal 1, achieve and maintain academic excellence, and Goal 2, engage parents and the community. And Emily Schwartz-Kearns is here to answer any questions that we might have.
Okay, thanks, Maria.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So, second.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Thanks, Steve. Questions?
Emily, is this about the same amount of funding that we received last year?
The NESP funding, the grant that's before you now, has gone down about $20,000. Our Title III funding, which is coming up next, went up a bit. Net is we're down a little bit between the two grants.
Okay. And is the number of ELL students that we currently have, did that number also decrease?
No, the number continues to grow. It's a set pot for the state, so as the number across the state of students grows, the per pupil amount goes down each year.
Okay.
And of course, this topic came up in our budget discussions, Kathy, in your presentation, because this does not come close to what we spend on ELL students. Isn't that correct, Emily?
Correct. The NESP grant, though, has gone up over recent years, and that's the one we can use to pay for our basic required services like instruction and interpreting. So that has helped take some off of general fund or education fund, but education fund pays the majority of it.
And does this cover only ELL students that attend Fort Wayne Community Schools, or does this also cover other students?
Well, the
we
NESP, the state funding only goes to public schools. Title III that's coming up, I'll jump ahead, does have a portion generated by non-public
Okay,
students that are
gotcha.
in our boundaries.
Gotcha. Okay. Don't go far then.
Okay?
Okay, any other questions? So, seeing none, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so next, we have the 2021 grant application Title III, Language Instruction for Limited English Proficient and Immigrant Students. It's recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of the Title III Language Instruction for Limited English Proficient and Immigrant Students grant for 2021 in the amount of $422,165 from the Office of English Learning and Migrant Programs of the Indiana Department of Education. So this Title III grant is federal funding allocated annually by the Indiana Department of Education based on the number of English learner students in Fort Wayne Community Schools during the previous school year. Funds from this grant will allow for the continuation of a range of supplemental services for the district's English language learners program. The funds in this year's grant are specifically designated for supplemental instructional materials, professional learning, and family engagement. So this grant, again, is written by Emily Schwartz-Kearns, the ELL manager, and she is available still to answer any questions. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Maria. Any questions?
I did have one question for Emily. Do you have a couple of examples of family engagement? What do we try to do with those families?
Well, the funding mostly supports our interpreters and written translation to help those families engage in day-to-day workings.
So it's
of
that
the schools.
interaction between that interpreter and the family?
Right, and then some of our Title III funding does go to some of our outreach to newer immigrant families, where in the past we've done home visits over the summer. This year we did it mainly by phone outreach, but we have some staff that contacts the families, takes them some materials. So those are some examples.
Emily, what portion of this is allocated for our district, and then what percentage of it is allocated for non-pubs?
Oh, I don't have the percentages. I come
Well,
with all the
whichever-
numbers because I
whichever
know.
data you have.
I have numbers though.
Okay.
Somebody can figure the percentages. So the total grant is just over 422,000. The portion generated by the students in non-public schools is 55,600. So 366,000 is our portion.
Thank
So
you.
it is generated by their students, flows through Fort Wayne Community Schools to support their students.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so next, Ann, you've got the Indiana Literacy Early Intervention Grant.
It is recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of the Indiana Literacy Early Intervention Grant from the Indiana Department of Education in the amount of $82,817.67 for the 2020-21 school year. The 2020-21 Indiana Literacy Early Intervention Grant is focused on improving early literacy. This grant is open to all accredited public, charter, and non-public schools that contain kindergarten, first grade, and second grade students. Grant funds are to be used to better equip teachers to meet the needs of students, to enhance student engagement, and to increase student literacy achievement. This grant addresses Goal 1, achieve and maintain academic excellence, and questions will be answered by Jamie Schenk, Elementary ELA Curriculum Coordinator.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Steve. Questions?
So what types of things do we purchase with this grant money?
The plan is to purchase a book with different games and activities that the teachers can use for scaffolding in conjunction with our curriculum for phonics. And so they can look at what the students are needing and find an activity or a small group game that they can play or administer with the students in order to continue working on those phonics skills and those phonological skills.
And is this a grant that we get each year?
I'm not sure about that, actually.
No?
No.
See somebody shaking
Okay.
their head no.
No.
I was just wondering if there was data that
Sorry,
we had to
this is
collect.
my first year in this position, so
No
this is the
worries.
first time I've seen it.
No worries.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
Mhm.
So all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and Raleigh, you've got locker replacements.
It is recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for the replacement of physical education lockers at Northwood and Lakeside Middle Schools and student and physical education lockers at Toll Intermediate School. That's DeBoer Manufacturing Company. The total contract is $492,132.98. The project was designed and procured through Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative. Indiana law allows for purchases made through competitively bid contracts from approved cooperative purchasing entities. The project is identified and funded by the 2019 General Obligation Bond. Project specifications require the work to be completed by July 30th, 2021. Questions will be addressed by Director of Facilities Darren Hess.
Okay, thanks, Raleigh. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Ann. Questions? Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so Steve, you've got nutrition center temperature controls
Yes.
upgrades.
It's recommended the board approve the following contracts for upgrades to temperature control systems at our nutrition center. And the recommendation is that we go with automated logic at the price of $107,188. The project consists of upgrades to the building's automation control systems at the nutrition center. Existing control systems are proprietary, and Automated Logic is the single source vendor for this work. This recommendation is within the program budget, which is identified in our capital projects plan, and it's funded from the operations fund. The work should be done by June 30th of next year, and Darren Hess is here if we have questions for him.
Okay, thanks, Steve. So do we have a motion and a second?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Raleigh. Questions? So Darren, I'm just curious, is this the same as me replacing the thermostat in my house, or is there a lot more to it than that?
Yeah, it's a little more detailed than that. It's the total backbone. Every piece of equipment has to have the computer guts replaced so they can speak back to the main head end.
So, are we essentially just replacing, or is this like better than the system we had before?
It's pretty much a replacement. We're reusing existing valves, temperature control valves, but this is the new wiring, new components.
Okay.
The existing system actually is a train system, and there's only one of them that we have in our district. So if we go down on one of the units, we don't have a backup. So this is a higher priority for us to make
okay.
sure and have this one done.
Cool. Probably for a building like that, that's a good thing to have when you've got all those freezers that are operating. Okay. Any other questions? Thanks. Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so Maria, you've got purchase of Lenovo ThinkPad laptops.
It is recommended that the board approve the purchase of 758 Lenovo Yoga 11E ThinkPad computers from ProSize of Indianapolis for $339,811.40. The purchase of these laptops represent the second purchase for the fifth year of the 5-year technology plan that ensures students and teachers have current technology to support instruction. Since we were able to establish our one-to-one goal during the 4th year, these computers will be used to start our replacement schedule. FWCS was able to secure pricing that was below General Services Administration pricing. Indiana law does not require public bidding for purchases made at or below GSA pricing. Funding will come from the School Technology Advancement account, and Jack Bird is here to answer any questions that we may have.
Okay, thanks, Maria. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Steve. Questions? Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and last, we have the ratification of the Teamsters Local 414 contract. It's recommended that the board ratify revisions to the collective bargaining agreement and approve wage and salary increases for Teamsters Local 414, which represents Fort Wayne Community School bus drivers. The new contract increases driver wages by 1.5%, consistent with other employee groups, increases pay for extracurricular routes to $15 per hour, and provides compensation for drivers during weather-related school closures, which may become remote learning days. These negotiated changes will assist in driver recruitment and retention. So questions will be addressed by Frank Jackson, Director of Transportation. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Maria. Questions?
Frank, oh, there you are. Hi, Frank. Can you tell me, did the Teamsters, is there a percentage that this was approved by? Is everybody in favor of this contract that was laid before them?
I wasn't present at the ratification when the drivers ratified the contract, but my understanding from talking with the representative, most of the members agreed.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks, Frank. So all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So now, Frank says you're going to be doing a presentation, and we get to see a video. And this presentation has to do with Bus Safety Week. So I take it that this is Bus Safety Week.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm Frank Jackson, and I'm the Director of Transportation for Fort Wayne Community Schools, and I've been with the district now 29 years. The best thing about this job is the opportunity, first of all, to be a part of an excellent educational opportunity with Fort Wayne Community Schools. We're a support service for the district, but we're a part of that educational process. Transportation is the first Fort Wayne Community Schools employee that each kid sees when they attend school in the morning. So when they walk onto that school bus, we want to make sure that we're creating an environment that's conducive to learning and to education. Over the 29 years, what I've shared with my bus drivers is that you're a very important part of this district, and education takes place on the school bus before those kids ever enter into a school building. One of our major projects consists of preparing all of our buses for the annual state police inspection. When school is out, generally in June, we begin that process of getting our buses mechanically prepared for the inspection to make sure that they're safe and sound and ready when school starts to safely transport our students. We prepare all of our routing for the upcoming school year, so we're busy prepping and getting ready in a variety of different areas.
Each school year, there are more than 15 million stop arm violations. It has to stop.
Stop for me.
It has to stop.
Stop for me.
We need your help to make a difference and keep our kids safe. Slow, stop, stay. Slow.
Slow for me.
Stop.
Stop for me.
Stay.
Stay for me.
Slow, stop, stay.
Hurrah!
We're definitely hiring bus drivers. Currently, we have openings for about 55 to 60 bus drivers. In order to apply, you would simply need to go online to the Fort Wayne Community Schools website. You will apply on the Human Resources recruitment application. Once you're cleared through that process, then we would forward you an interview. We would set you up for training and get you prepared to become a professional bus driver. Good evening, President Hollingsworth, board members, Dr. Daniel. My name is Frank Jackson, Director of Transportation. But we're going to do it again. Director of Transportation. I've worked for the district 29 years. I'm a graduate of Snyder High School and Ball State University. Prior to joining Fort Wayne Community Schools in 1991, I was a probation officer with Allen Superior Court for 12 years. I've been married to my lovely wife, Alonza, for 37 years. Alonza is a graduate of Southside High School and has worked for the district 16 years. She is currently the attendance clerk at Portage Middle School. We have two children, Tyler and Alyssa, both graduates of Fort Wayne Community Schools. Tyler is the administrative assistant at Studi Elementary School. I think you can begin to see the theme here. We have two grandchildren, Jaden and Carter. Jaden attends Haley Elementary School, and Carter attends Virginia Public Schools. So my family and I are proud of Fort Wayne Community Schools and definitely the public school system. So our agenda for this evening includes transportation overview, bus safety, bus maintenance, and bus recruitment and retention. The Transportation Department is responsible for the most precious cargo, the children of this district. Our mission is to provide the safest, most efficient, and timely delivery of students of this district. Our objectives are not only to provide customer service, but to provide quality service to our parents, our students, and our schools. Through our efforts, we strive to continuously improve community support and confidence. Our goal is to consistently deliver safe and efficient transportation. The Transportation Department has two operating facilities, Cook Road near Northrop High School and Ardmore Road near the former Elmhurst High School. The Transportation Department has 280 staff members, which consist of office staff, garage technicians, bus assistants, technology staff, and 205 bus drivers positions. The Transportation Department has an operating budget of over $15.5 million. The Transportation Department has a fleet of 299 buses, which include 45 activity buses. And the state of Indiana allows buses to be replaced when the bus is 12 years old. So I want to share a few fun facts with you all. So over 16,000 students are eligible for transportation. We transport over 14,000 of these students each day. We travel over 3 million miles per year. So the wheels on the bus literally go round and round. We manage over 1,000 bus routes every day. Now these routes total more than 6,000 bus stops per day. So we're making a lot of stops throughout the city. So effective in 2020, the Transportation Department began installing stop-arm cameras in our new bus purchases. Currently, 29 buses are equipped with stop-arm cameras, and with the 2021 bus purchase, a total of 44 buses will be equipped with stop-arm cameras. The stop-arm cameras will provide valuable evidence to law enforcement for stop-arm violations. So why is this important? Each day in Allen County, nearly 200 school bus stop-arm violations occur. Most severe injuries to students occur when students are loading and offloading school buses. From 2006 to 2015, 301 school-aged children died in school transportation-related crashes. Of those 301 fatalities, 102 children, almost 1/3 of those who died, were killed while they were approaching or leaving the school bus. About 7:12 a.m. on October the 30th of 2018, in Rochester, Indiana, 10 students and 1 parent were waiting at the bus stop. The posted speed limit was 55 miles per hour. The school bus stopped at its designated location to pick up the students, and the bus driver activated the red warning lights and the stop arm. After being signaled by the driver to cross the roadway, 4 of the students entered the roadway. A pickup truck traveling 41 miles per hour struck the 4 children. As a result of the crash, 3 of the students were fatally injured and 1 student was seriously injured. Last school year, Fort Wayne Community Schools joined with East Allen County Schools, Northwest Allen County Schools, Southwest Allen County Schools, and Parkview Health Trauma Services to launch Slow, Stop, Stay safety campaign. You saw the public service campaign in the opening video. The public service campaign was designed to educate motorists on the law regarding stop arm violations, as well as the danger to students when stop arms are ignored. With the reporting of stop arm violations by bus drivers and data from our stop arm cameras, we are able to provide law enforcement with stop arm violation hotspots and data for targeted enforcement of stop arm violations. Additionally, the Transportation Department has collaborated with the Allen County Prosecutor's Office. The prosecutor supports the use of footage from our stop arm cameras to prosecute violators. So we're excited about that. I'd like to share a little bit of information in regards to our seatbelt program. In 2018, the Transportation Department adjusted our bus specifications to include seatbelts on our buses. Currently, 87 buses are equipped with seatbelts. All new bus purchased will include seatbelts. Our goal is to equip buses with seatbelts by 2029. By adjusting the bus specifications and equipment options, the Transportation Department was able to add seatbelts to buses without increasing the bus replacement budget. So why is this important? The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, NHTSA, if I may, support the addition of lap shoulder seatbelts on school buses. NHTSA stated, and I quote, "Our goal is a 3-point seatbelt for every child on every school bus." It's no secret, seatbelt saves lives. Seatbelt make buses about 50% safer, reduces bus accidents caused by bus driver distraction, reduces bullying, negative behavior, and vandalism to school buses, fewer bus delays and bus referrals due to student behavioral issues, and lower cost of medical claims and litigation. The Transportation Department takes pride in maintaining our buses. The talk among state police examiners and transportation colleagues around the state is Fort Wayne Community Schools has the best fleet of buses in the state of Indiana. That is a badge of honor that we wear proudly in my department. We have 15 technicians servicing 299 buses. All buses are serviced every 200 miles. Every component is checked and serviced on each and every bus. Buses are inspected annually by the Indiana State Police with a 100% passing rate. We are proud of that accomplishment. Recruitment and hiring efforts, as all of you know, the shortage of bus drivers is a nationwide shortage, which complicates recruitment and retention efforts. The recruitment and hiring of bus drivers is a competitive market. Fort Wayne Community Schools is surrounded by 3 school districts, East Allen County, Northwest Allen County, and Southwest Allen County. So we're all competing to hire qualified bus drivers. Currently, as I mentioned earlier, we have 205 bus driver positions. We currently have 166 bus drivers. So we have 39 vacancies. Through our efforts, we have 10 drivers that are at the commercial driver's license stage. That's the second stage prior to becoming a bus driver. We have 1 driver that just completed their training and in fact started to drive for us last Thursday. We have 4 drivers that are at the human resource pre-employment stage, and we have 45 drivers that we've interviewed and are currently pursuing their permits through BMV. So retaining our drivers is also a concern for us. So we have 2 programs that have been very valuable to recruitment and retention. That's our bus driver referral program. This program allows us to award any driver that makes a successful referral a $200 award. In 2019, we had 5 drivers that received that referral bonus. And then there's our bus driver retention program. And this program is based on attendance, accidents, and disciplinary actions. A level 1 bonus of $500, 0 absences, 0 accident, and 0 disciplinary actions is required. The level 2 bonus of $250, and then a level 3 bonus of $100, no more than 4 absences for that award. And so that concludes my presentation, and I want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to share this valuable information regarding the Transportation Department. Thank you.
Hey, Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
So, if I want to be a bus driver, what's that BMV permit process? I assume that's step 1.
Yes, that is the first stage. We interview the potential candidate.
Right.
and we provide them with all of the information that's required to become a bus driver. Then they go to the BMV. There's 4 examinations that they have to take in order to obtain their permit. Once they obtain their permit, then they go through the pre-employment process with Human Resources.
Okay. So first you get a permit
Yes,
to be a bus driver.
that is correct.
Then you have to go through, then you do the pre-employment
Go
stuff.
through the pre-employment process.
So then you do the CDL training?
That is correct.
Okay. And so how long does that CDL training take?
It depends on the individual, actually. Generally, it takes probably about 2 months to get each candidate through the entire process. And so it's a lengthy process.
Okay. And do we pay for that, or do we, have some sort of a bonus upon completion or something if we end up hiring?
No, we do not pay for the licenses, the permits or the licenses. Once they reach the training stage, the CDL training, we do pay them a rate for training.
Okay. And then you have to be probationary or something? You said there was a driver that started Thursday, so,
Yeah, that's Fort Wayne Community Schools protocol, that there's a 30 and a 60-day probation period.
gotcha. Okay. And bus drivers, of course, not only have the bonuses that you mentioned and get to work with kids who are fun, but they also have full health benefits, correct?
They have full health benefits, 403B program, pension program,
Okay.
personal business time, relative death time. So they have all of the benefits that Fort Wayne Community Schools offer.
Okay, awesome.
How do we compare with the other districts in the county, Frank, with respect to wages and benefits?
Well, actually, we're doing well in comparison to the other districts, so I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for passing the contract, because that actually will help us with our recruitment and retention effort. We lead this general area in terms of wage and benefits, so we're doing great.
Is there anything else we could be doing? Any other incentives?
Well, there are some things that we're looking at. One thing that Mr. Kamak and I and Mr. David has talked about is an agreement, to signing an agreement to work for us for 180 days. There are a lot of times we hire a driver and then they move on to another district, they move on somewhere else, they work for us for a short period of time. And so we'd like to have drivers to sign a commitment to work for us for at least 180 school days. So,
And in exchange for that, we would do what?
well, we would pay for their licenses, and of course, training pay. Now, the catch to that is that if they leave the district prior to 180 days, then they'd have to reimburse us.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you, in your presentation, did you say that there are 200 daily violations of the stop arm?
That is correct.
Is there any particular part of our school district where we see an abnormal or too many violations, a street or somewhere where it seems to be happening more than we would like?
And yes, so we maintain a spreadsheet of when drivers report violations. We maintain a spreadsheet of all of the violations that occur. And we identify those locations, and we provide that information to the Fort Wayne Police Department.
Okay.
And the Fort Wayne Police Department has done an excellent job of working with us to curtail those violations.
I had one other question, and I'm looking for it on my sheet here. Yes, with respect to seat belts. It seems like seat belts on school buses for a very long time was a controversial issue, and I would hear both sides of the argument that In fact, I would hear some people make the argument that seatbelts were not as safe as they are in cars, and then I heard the other side that buses should have seatbelts. It seems like we finally settled on with having seat belts in buses. Was there a particular reason that pushed the argument that way?
Sure, yeah, there's been a lot of discussion back and forth in terms of seat belts being good for buses, not being good for buses. And so buses are built, buses are the safest form of transportation in the country. And so they're built with what they call compartmentalization. Those are the high back seats in buses. And also they're built so that if there's a crash, it protects the children when they move forward in a crash. And so they call that compartmentalization. Okay?
Has the seat design actually changed as well?
Well, the seat design, the high back seats has been in place for a number of years now. That's one of the safety improvement that they've made with school buses, with the high back seats, and then they padded those, and then they put in reinforcements in the seat and so forth. Now, with seat belts, what they've discovered is that kids don't always stay in those compartments, okay? They lean out in the aisle. They do all those kinds of things. And so that jeopardizes the safety of kids when they do that. Seat belts prevent that sort of thing from happening, okay? So the arguments of seat belts not being good, those were the old seat belts with the big buckle, and they were afraid that kids would hit each other and those kind of things and cause injuries. So seat belts now are 3-point safety belts, just like the ones that we have in our cars, okay? And they're designed just like the seat belts in our cars. So kids are accustomed to wearing seat belts.
Okay.
Anytime a child gets into our vehicle, they put on their seat belt. They have not been trained to do that in school buses, and that is our goal, is to make sure that we train kids to wear seat belts on buses as well, because seat belts save lives. And then we also have to consider rollovers as well. If a bus rolls over, then compartmentalization doesn't help us. Seatbelt does help.
We've been pretty fortunate in this district. I can't recall a very serious accident in recent history.
We have good drivers.
Yeah.
We practice safety. We train our drivers well. We're not perfect, but I think that we have some of the best drivers in the state, maybe in the country, because we do a good job of making sure that we train our folks well. Precious cargo that we carry, so it's important.
So Frank, have there been any instances yet where the prosecutor's office has used our stop arm cameras
Not
to
yet.
write tickets, or?
Well, not yet. We've met with the prosecutor's office. We've shared the footage with him, Mike McAlexander. He's very excited about, the videos that we shared with him. And so now we're working with the police department to be able to use that footage appropriately. Unfortunately, in Allen County, the law requires the police officer to actually see the violation in order to proceed with it. Okay, so we're trying to work through those loopholes now with the prosecutor's office and with the police department. So there's a little bit of a sticking point. But the video recordings are very useful in that once we identify those hot spots, the police department monitor those spots, and then we can provide the video recording to support prosecution.
And is that law only for stop arm videos? Because aren't there videos in, like when you come to an intersection, aren't there now cameras in a lot of the street lights that can then videotape whoever runs a light and then they get mailed a ticket, or is that in a different state?
They had a couple here in the city, but I don't think those exist anymore. They don't use those for that purpose. So
Of
they're
course,
not using them.
every student has a phone with
Well,
a
that's
camera.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, do we need to add this to a list of things that we talk to our state legislators about allowing?
Absolutely.
Good idea.
Certainly,
Okay.
certainly.
Good idea.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Frank.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
presentation.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the close of our regular meeting. Leaves board member comments. Steve?
Well, I got up at 7:15 Saturday morning to wish the Southside girls cross-country team good luck. I had a chance to not speak directly to the girls, but to the coaches, and this was at the semi-state at Huntington College, and they finished 9th, not good enough to qualify for the state finals at Terre Haute this week. But they do have one individual, Lauren Walda, who will be running as an individual, and that's pretty exciting. My daughter ran at South, and she was a senior in '96 and finished 32nd in the state meet. And so Evelyn and I were pretty excited about the results, and the coaches tell me that they have most of the team coming back, and that's pretty exciting too. So this year the girls captured the sectional, which was the first time in the school's history. So perhaps they're starting a tradition at Southside, and that's awfully exciting. So good luck to Lauren this Saturday.
Yeah.
Is that all you had? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to share that last Friday, and I also wanted to thank Miss Porter at Adams Elementary. She invited me to be the mystery reader for her 3rd grade remote learning class, which was the highlight, I think, of my entire month of October. It was the best thing ever. And we read Fright School, which I thought was appropriate. So it was about how monsters go to school to prepare to frighten children. And in the end, the children actually frightened the monsters. So it was really good. So that was great. So thank you so much. Miss Porter and her students had the best questions ever, and they were very well behaved, and it was just my highlight. So thank you again. That's all I got.
So was the mystery solved? Did they have to figure out who you were? Or?
You know,
I mean, is this like The Masked Singer?
well, I don't watch that show, so I don't really
I don't
have a
either.
reference for that. Okay. And I'm not sure what Miss Porter, what details she gave them. She just said that I was a mystery reader, and then she made me stay in the lobby of the Zoom meeting, and then she got all of her students together, and then I came in, and then we read the story, and then at the end they got to ask me lots of questions about being a school board member and what does that mean, and my favorite color, and all that, all of the very crucial questions.
So there was no mask or costume involved in this appearance?
No.
So you were just a mystery ahead of time.
Yes.
They knew who you were while you were reading.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
So it was the apprehension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
the
excited.
excitement of knowing who it was going to be.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was
And I
the
mean,
key.
yeah. I'm, not a celebrity or anything, so I had to bring a really great book, and I did voices in all the appropriate spots, and so I hope that they loved it as much as I did.
I bet they did. Cool.
Well, I'm next week's mystery reader, and I just gave it away because all those kids are watching, and now I know.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
But
all those 3rd graders.
And if they ask me board member questions, I'll just say, didn't you pay attention to Maria? And I know
Tough act to follow, though.
Yeah, it will be, but I know what book not to get.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so you get to choose the book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Then I just realized, what if
that'd be
someone
tough.
has already read my book? There's got to be several out there.
Nice.
That's all I
Anything
have.
else? Raleigh?
I have no comment.
Okay. Dr. Daniel?
I do have a couple of things. First of all, as you know, Arlington Elementary had a water main burst, and I want to thank Darren Hess, and I know he's no longer here, but Darren, thank you and your crew, because we did have school there this morning and today.
Oh, great.
So they did a great job cleaning that up, and want to thank them for that. Also, I want to inform everyone we are our Ward Elementary scenario and what's happening in that space. We've had several meetings with representatives from Ward, specifically in that neighborhood, but also as they've partnered with Arch, and they've also now partnered with, and this is very important because this will then affect where we're moving forward, Fort Wayne Development Trust Incorporated. So they have created a memorandum of understanding. David's looked over that memorandum of understanding. It does not include us. It is between the trust and Arch, but they're working with the neighborhood association. And I do want to thank board members for participating in that process. The goal is for them to come up with a solution for Ward. One of the risks that we were trying to decide upon, do we take the risk, do we not take the risk? The demolition bid, and Kathy did find out and did extend that bid. We were accepted through the end of January of 2021. So there is that window of opportunity. Again, I know the community is working hard to find a solution for the property, and we are very open-minded, and I want to thank you for that process and that open-mindedness. And lastly, it seems as we continue this remote learning and this COVID-19 existence, we are seeing a need to refocus on wellness. And as such, I had a meeting, oh gosh, I think it was Thursday, and someone, it was the ambassadors of FWCS, and one of the teachers came up with this slogan. She said, why don't you call it Wellness Wednesdays? So we are implementing what we call Wellness Wednesdays. There is a focus on social emotional wellness. Now, please understand that's not just our students, that's also our staff. So we're asking during that time, because we already have the 2-hour delay, and if I look at the secondary world, you're looking at about 30-minute periods. Use that time to refresh, to rewind, to relearn. But let's not move forward with something new. It gives a chance for the students to hopefully catch up, but also it's a time where we can talk about wellness. And we have curriculum that has been developed. FACE did an excellent job in that area. Again, those are pieces of information or part of curriculum that a teacher may choose to use, but select or do what you think is best for the students. So I also want to thank Sandra Voss, and she's here this evening, President FWA. We created a video this afternoon. We both spoke to this issue and presented it to the teachers. And again, understanding the depth of what we're asking our teachers and our students to accomplish, it is very complex. Technology isn't as simple as we thought it was when we entered this on day one, but we are working to improve, and I think that's very important. And part of this is our answer to, it's not just the learning of the academics, it's the whole student, it's the whole staff being aware and being supportive of that. And so I'm very appreciative of that. And moving forward, we hope to, again, we hope that students are catching up. We hope teachers are a little bit more refreshed, can do some additional planning, that sort of thing. And we continue to see that improvement. We are having some metrics that we're monitoring, such as levels of engagement of students. Yes, we're tracking students that aren't completing assignments, and again, we're doing our very best to make those connections. And I don't, and as we're looking at this whole COVID-19, as we look at the safe distancing and so forth in our buildings, I'm very, very proud to say the state looks to Fort Wayne Community Schools as one of the models for distancing, creating a safe environment for kids, safe distancing, cohorts and so forth, as well as Allen County. So again, all this coming together, looking at the whole student and the whole staff member. Thank you.
And did I see that you are doing another Facebook Live event? Is that
Yes.
November? Not this week, but next week?
November 3rd, she said.
November 3rd, okay.
Election night.
That, I was gonna say, that's not a significant date.
All right.
Okay, November 3rd, at 6 PM?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, so, and also, I was talking with, Jack Bird, our Director of Technology, when I came in, and because I think we got some notice that, we've expanded our help desk.
Yes.
So I even think we have some evening hours, I believe. So it's open to students, it's open to parents, of course, open to teachers. So, you know, if you have an issue, and I don't know when, do you have a time for that?
4 to 8 o'clock.
Okay, so the evening hours are from 4 PM to 8 PM?
Correct.
And just call 467-HELP. 467-HELP, and we have technicians standing by
That's right.
to help you.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's good news about Ward. You know, we hope that the group, aided by the Fort Wayne Development Trust, that they can find a use for the building and find the financing. Because, you know, we want to be a good community partner. I hope that can happen. So hopefully, we'll look forward to seeing what they can come up with by the end of January. Okay, so that's all I have. Next meeting is November 9th. We have a motion to...
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Maria. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the microphone is open for